Hello little chefs, this is Chef Alexia, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm here to teach you the mindset and the skills of a chef. So today what we're going to be talking about, we're not cooking, I'm not showing you any ingredient, I'm not showing you any pots. Today what we're doing, I'm going to teach you 5 tips on how to meal prep faster. Because I know all of us are extremely busy. And even myself, coming back from the restaurant, I'm usually tired and maybe I don't want to cook something. So what I do is I prepare myself during the weekend or especially Sunday, and I am ready for the week. So if you spend 1 to 2 hours meal prepping one day a week, you could choose a day, whatever is best for you. Sundays are usually very good because it's a day that most people have off, and it's the day right before you go to work and you start your work week, so the food is going to be very fresh. But I don't want you to start meal prepping just a lot of different meals, because that is very time consuming. It could take you up to 4 to 6 hours for you to create a few dishes, and then during the week you just warm it up. But most often you will eat the same food for 3 days. So I want you to change a little bit your mind on how to meal prep. If you want to make one meal because you really like it and you don't mind having it for 2 days in a row, that's all right. But I want to give you like another perception. So the subject today is 5 tips on how to meal prep faster. So first of all, I'm going to start by saying that most people, like I said, will make meals. So I want us to start focusing on making ingredients. So choose yourself a protein, such as a chicken or a salmon, whatever it is that you like as a protein, a fish, lobster, shrimp, whatever you guys like. Choose a protein, choose a couple of veggies. So Brussels sprouts, asparagus. Asparagus is especially great this season. Even onions, or we want some starch. Maybe you want some potatoes, some rice, some quinoa, some lentils, or something like that if you eat starch. We want to make sure that we have prepared some snacks or have ourselves ready for some snacks. For example, maybe you want to prepare a hummus and you have some celery. So cut up the celery and put it in a napkin, a little bit wet, keep it in the refrigerator. If you get hungry, your celery is already cut, your hummus is already done. You don't want to do that because you don't have time. Have some cheese, have some nuts, just make something, or have yourself a game plan when you go shopping, what is going to be your snack. And I also want you to think about what is going to be your breakfast. For example, I like to eat yogurt with granola. I make a nut-free granola. So I do that actually once every 2-3 weeks. It lasts very well because it's a dry ingredient. I keep it in the cabinet, and every morning I get my yogurt, I get the granola, I get a little bit of maybe strawberries. I bought some raspberries the other day. They were so delicious. You put that together, you got yourself a breakfast. It takes less than a minute if you have the granola ready. So do yourself a favor and be super prepared. Some people make oatmeal every day. That will take you like a minute and a half, maybe. So I don't want you guys to think that you gotta go out to Starbucks and get something. And I do that sometimes. If I'm on the road, I will stop by a Starbucks and get some breakfast. But that is after I went to the gym and I was like an hour and 2 hours outside, and I don't have time to come home. But if you are at home, before you leave, have your breakfast. Is only a minute. It's all in our head. We're all so overwhelmed. We don't have time for anything. We do have time. You have to make time. This is what it is. So we talk about breakfast. I want you to choose certain things that you want for breakfast. We talked about the yogurt, the granola, maybe an omelette. So I want to talk about some ingredients that I always have in the refrigerator in case I get hungry and I'm not super prepared. So some things that I have are eggs, and that's why I said maybe an omelette. So I have eggs, and I love to have mushrooms and onions and asparagus in my omelette. So I always make sure that I have those things at home. I have feta cheese, of course, and I always have these things available. So if I want to make breakfast, you take out the 2 eggs, you crack them, whip them, put the mushrooms, and now I'm going to talk to you on how to save time on meal prep. Those mushrooms are already cut. Okay, first of all, you could buy them cut at the supermarket, but I don't want you to be lazy, okay? On the meal prep time that you allow yourself on a weekly basis, I want you to also pre-cut as many things as possible that will make your life easier. So if you like mushrooms like myself for breakfast, I want you to chop up the mushrooms. I want you to chop up the onion or whatever you put in that omelette. So let's say that you want to have a salad. All right, I even sometimes will cut, like I said, the celery or the carrots, or even if I have like cucumber, I will chop up the cucumber. I prefer to do those things while I'm about to eat the food. So the fresher the cucumber, the better it is. But let's say you don't have any time. It's okay. You cut the cucumber, put it in a napkin, make it a little wet like we do with our herbs, and it's gonna stay fresh for at least 2 days. So I don't wanna hear any excuses. I'm being a little tough with you today because I know a lot of people get super overwhelmed with cooking, and it actually will save you time. Tell me, think about the math. If you spend 2 hours a week and you meal prep yourself, then during the week, you will spend less than 15 minutes to put the meal together, all right? If you already have a protein, you have a chicken, you have your veggies, you have your little quinoa, you come home, you put all that together, you have a meal. And guess what? It doesn't get boring because every single time you could do a different combination. Just focus on preparing ingredients. So your rice is gonna take 18 minutes to get done, for example. But the rice, it takes you 5 minutes for you to put it together. You put some onions and you make the rice, and then you put the lid, and then you wait 18 minutes. Those 18 minutes, you could roast some veggies, you could roast your chicken. Oh, and another great thing that I love to do with meal prep is that I prepare a couple of different sauces. I always have tomato sauce in my refrigerator, so in case I want to make some pasta, I just boil the pasta. I have the tomato sauce already. I don't have to wait 40 minutes for it to get nice and sweet and juicy. I get the chicken that I already have pre-cooked, and I got myself some pasta with tomato sauce and chicken, and you put a little bit of Brussels sprouts in there, or mushrooms, or whatever vegetables you want, and you have yourself a meal. And by the way, you guys know that I'm low carb, so the pasta is going to be like garbanzo pasta or something like that, and only when we're training. So I want to just remind you that life is super easy. Cooking is a blessing. I want you to share that with your family. So instead of you focusing on creating a lasagna dish that will take you 3 hours and you will have to eat it for the rest of the week, focus on roasting some chicken, creating a couple of sauces like a marinara, a pesto, make a Caesar dressing. The Caesar dressing is gonna last you for 2 weeks in the refrigerator. So have yourself ready. So when you come home, you just put things together. You don't have to do anything, or you just warm up the food. So then you don't have any washing to do. You just have like one pot of the food that you warmed up. And if you guys remember, one of the equipment that I suggested for you was actually the air fryer. So use the air fryer, warm up your chicken in there, warm up your Brussels sprouts, get the quinoa, put a little bit of a dressing, some type of dressing, or just olive oil and lemon juice, and you have yourself a super salad. So I want to talk also some other ingredients that I keep in my refrigerator. So I talked about mushrooms, I talked about onions. I want you to choose vegetables that you like, okay? And then I always have an avocado because that could be a snack that I could create a sauce with that. You could make even dessert with that if you really like. I don't like dessert so much, but I just want you to know, like, keep a cucumber, keep some yogurt. I always have lemon. I have water with lemon, and I put lemon basically on everything. It's fantastic to clean your body. Mushrooms, and I usually have some type of green. Spinach is very versatile, or some kale, because you could warm it up or you could have it raw. So if you have eggs, you have your spinach. Oh, and I keep a couple of herbs. So I love dill and I love basil, so those things are always here. I have carrots and celery because this is something that I always start some type of sauce, some type of soup, or something like that. And I try to pre-cut everything. I want you to also think that if you chop up herbs, you could have them in the refrigerators. Like I did one of the lives that I talk about how to preserve herbs. You could dry them. So find yourself sauces. Find yourself, so do like a basic roasted chicken, but you could differentiate it with a different sauce. So spend your time into creating flavors by putting sauces, by putting herbs, by putting spices, and you will not have the same chicken every day. It's as simple as that. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Write any questions that you have. I always check your questions, and also send me a direct message for any cooking questions that you have. I do this for you, and I want to know if you really enjoy it. Do you like me doing this? Do you like when I give you tips about how to stay clean, how to declutter, maybe how to use an ingredient? Because I don't want to teach you just one recipe. I want to teach you how to think in the kitchen, so you could step in, cook like a boss, and then take it outside to your family, proud, and say, look what I made for you today. And you guys sit on the table and have a spiritual connection between each other. Like, the time we spend on the table with other people is so sacred, especially when we have cooked something for them, and even better, when it tastes amazing. You just created a memory. Think about your grandmother, think about your mother. They didn't cook, think about somebody. Think about even a restaurant that you went, that you had something and you're like, this is my childhood. So I want you to create moments like that. And if you spend 1 to 2 hours meal prepping every week, you are gonna save so much time. Instead of spending 1 hour every single day, which is 7 hours in a week, you're gonna spend 2 hours and then you're gonna spend 15, say half an hour. You're gonna spend 2 hours plus another 1, 2, 3.5 hours. So that's gonna be 4.5 hours. You just have yourself 3 hours. You saved yourself 2/3 of the money you will have spent if you went outside. Just plan it, put it on a piece of paper, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed with recipes. Just get yourself some roasted veggies, some sauté veggies, some chicken, some salmon, put yourself some spices, some herbs, and put the meal together when you come home. So little chefs, I'm back in the US in my studio. No more vacation. I have to go to the restaurants, but I want to kiss you goodbye, and I want to tell you that I will try Sunday at 7 p.m. And I'll see you there. Have a beautiful day. Also, I would love if you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment below with a recipe that you would like to see next. See you in the kitchen next time.